Okay, I've done that now. Okay. Well, I'm still here.
I have it recording. It says it's recording.
Okay. I was trying to mute. Okay, you'll have to unmute yourself again. Okay. Well, we've got 7 o'clock. We're going to go ahead and get started. I'm going to begin by, I did join, Dr. Stone and I, we joined Dr. Lamb's town hall last night, so we just didn't get to see everybody, and we don't get to say a whole lot when Dr. Lamb's talking because he likes to talk. So y'all will learn that we like to cut up with each other too. But
talking bad about me. I just got here.
Santa Claus is here. Yes.
I've started the Santa Claus beard.
I know. I saw you last night. You told him that I was older than you by 1 month, guys. But he looks older than me because he looks like Santa Claus. But anyway, we'll go ahead and get started. Welcome to this new, I don't want to say journey in your life, this new experience in your life. Dr. Lamb has already spent some time doing that, and we'll talk about that over the next couple of 3 weeks over and over again. You know, there'll be some things that you'll hear repeated, but especially we would like to welcome you to MELS 601. Working with you this semester will be Dr. Stone, and Dr. Stone, if he'll be speaking in just a few minutes. Dr. Lamb will be in and out with us. I don't know, knowing him more in than out as much as he can. And then I am Dr. Stedman, and we will be your instructors for this semester as you begin this new experience. You know that you have signed on for the add-on license program, which means that we have to put our roller skates on and we have to hit the road running. And I'm not saying that to scare anybody, but you need to know from the very beginning that it is a fast-paced program. All of you already have an earned master's degree, so you know what it takes to commit to doing hard work and to setting aside the time that you need to get quality things done. And this semester and these next 3 semesters, it's not going to be any different. But we want you to know that you have a strong support group, as Dr. Lamb said last night, with your clinical coach 1, with your clinical coach 2, with your course instructors. We have put a system in place that if you do your part, we will definitely do our part and do more than our part sometime so that you can be successful in this program. We have accomplished in helping a lot of people meet their dream, and they are now, many of them are assistant principals, and working in other capacities at the central office level. And I know that that's what your aspirations are, and that's what we want. That's what we want to do. Just as a reminder, over the course of this program, you're going to complete, and Dr. Lamb mentioned this last night, and we'll mention it again Thursday night. You're going to complete what we call 6 evidences. And a lot of what we talk about is going to be, a lot of the weekly instruction is going to be built around those evidences, while we will talk about the specific things that you do. When, just like Dr. Stone has a presentation in just a little bit, his presentation is going to focus on the first evidence that you'll be working with and the first task that you will be working with. So everything that we do, our efforts are to align it with evidence work that you have to do. You will be doing 2 evidences this semester, and we will talk about those in more detail. And they're noted by acronyms. The first one is the APSL, and the second one is the APTEL. And the APSL is actually an analysis and action plan for student learning. The APTEL is the analysis and action plan for teacher empowerment and leadership. Now, I want you to notice that in both of those, we mentioned analysis and we mentioned action plan. That means that you're going to look at something very, very closely. You're going to analyze it. You're going to tear it apart. You're going to it's like taking a motor apart to see, to see what it's made up of. And then after you see what it's made up of, or you find out what the problem is, your job is to put an action plan in place to fix the problem. So with student learning, that's why you're in the school business. It's all about the students. If it wasn't for the students, then we wouldn't need schools, would we? So we're going to begin with the most important element of what we do, and that is with the student and with student learning. And so our first responsibility is we are going to identify in your particular school what are the problems that are impeding the learning process in your schools. And then once we identify the biggest problems, we're going to help you focus on a problem that you can help in this process to improve in your school. And we're going to be talking about that over the next 2 or 3 sessions, helping you to identify those problems and helping you understand what it takes to get from point A to point B to improve overall student success in your schools. One of the things that I want all of you to think about, most of you are classroom teachers still. And one of the things that you've got to begin doing today, now all of you see, if you can see me, you see that I've got a hat on. And I'm going to figuratively talk about something. You have got to take off the teacher hat, and you have got to put on the hat of an administrator. You've got to begin thinking differently. You can't think as a teacher anymore. You can understand as a teacher, but you've got to begin thinking differently in order to be successful in this program. Else, why would you be here? And at the end of the day, if you are still thinking as a teacher, you haven't accomplished what you need to accomplish, and we haven't gotten you where you need to get. So I want you to begin thinking. Every decision that you make from this point on, you can remember what it's like to be a teacher because you are a teacher, but you've got to begin thinking, why does my principal do what he or she does? Why does my AP do what he or she does? Why does the superintendent require this? Why do these supervisors require this? You've got to begin seeing things, like I said, literally take off the hat, put on a new hat, and you've got to begin looking through a different set of lenses. You've got to see things differently than you've seen them before. Now, you know what's going to happen? Once you get involved in this, and I promise you this, Dr. Stone attested this, and Dr. Lamb will too. In 2 or 3 weeks, you're going to begin, and it'll just happen. You're going to begin thinking, even when you're with your teacher groups, they're going to start saying some things, and you're going to get quiet, and you're going to back off probably. You know why? Because the light bulb will have come on, and it should have come on by then, and you're going to say, I understand why my principal requires this now, or I understand why my principal, because you are moving in that direction. So I say all that to say this. Some people, as you are moving through this process, some people may begin to say, well, they have changed. Guess what? You will have changed, and if you don't change, shame on you. You're not doing what we want you to do. So we want you to change for the right reasons, but know that all of this is going to happen. Very quickly, I want we have a presentation later on, and Dr. Stone will, and Dr. Stone, I want you to interject anything at any time. He has a presentation later on, but it will align with some of the things that we will be talking about later on. And Dr. Lamb, if there's anything you need to say at any time, interject it as well. But what I want to do
That's
is,
good. I just want to echo some of the things you said too.
okay,
That as you are beginning this journey, Gardner-Webb University is here to help you. And so our purpose, of course, is to make sure that you're ready for that office of principal or assistant principal when you move into it. And as you begin to put on that hat, as Dr. Stedman said, we want to make sure you have the tools. We want to make sure that you understand everything that principals and assistant principals and administrators, what they see every day. And so when you're in your classroom and you close that door, there is so much more that's going on in that building. So that global perspective of what principals and assistant principals do every day is so critically important. And through the evidences that you will have to do in the MAILS program, you'll get a really good chance to see some of those tasks that principals and assistant principals do. So you will be immersed in the administrative job. And we're looking forward to being partners with you.
Thank you, Dr. Stone, for those comments. You're going to think, and I mentioned this before everybody came on board, you're going to think over the next 2 or 3 weeks, you're going to think many, many times, many of you are going to say, I can't do this. I'm going to quit. You've got to trust us. If this is something that you want and you will commit to it, it's going to be hard work. I'm not going to tell you it's not going to be hard work. You're going to have to readjust your life over the next year, off and on. You're going to have to adjust your life to make this program fit into it to be successful. But if you will work with us, and you don't call me if you have to, call Dr. Stone if you have to. We will talk you off the ledge if you're standing on the ledge and ready to jump off.
And their clinical coach one. They will all have a clinical coach one. So that person's here to help you as well.
Right, and they're going to visit your site. So, that will be some sounding board, but I want you to know that we are here to support you, to help you get through. And I don't want to scare you, but, I do use this analogy sometimes. It's like, the people that join the Army or join the Marines, they go through some heavy basic training. But when it's all over with, after just a few weeks, when it's all over with, they look back and they look what they have accomplished, and they have actually they have a graduation, a little ceremony, and they're all dressed, and all of it was worth it to get to that point. And even though you're going to have to work and readjust, and you'll figure it out, and after a while, a lot of it's going to become somewhat second nature, because it will become acclimated to your daily routine and your daily lifestyle. You'll figure that out. I just don't want anybody after a week to say, I can't do this. Or after 2 weeks, I don't want you to say, if you get to that point, please pick up the phone and call one of us and let us help you. You promise me you'll do that? Okay. I'm getting a yes from everybody and a smile. What I want to do over the next few minutes, I want to this is actually my O2 shell with the course. All of us have the same thing. Dr. Stone has the same thing. I have the same thing. Dr. Lamb does. The only thing different is whoever your instructor is and who's welcoming you. Everything else is going to be the same in the shell. So I'm using one of my shells that this is actually what you see when you go into your Blackboard. I want you to look over to the left. And this is you need if you haven't done this, you need to make sure that you click on every one of these links to see what it says to you. My grades, that's where you actually, once we start grading assignments and putting them in the grade book, this is where you can check to make sure and see where you are, where, how many points do I have? Am I missing something or whatever? So this is something that you can check on a daily basis. This link right here, MAILS handbooks and competency folio resources. You need to, if you haven't read your MAILS handbook, you need to look at that. I'm going to click on that for just a moment just to show you. Well, there it is. Okay. With this is your MAILS Scale Handbook. This is the complete handbook. It goes through the whole program for you. This is your MAILS Site Mentor Handbook that your CC1, your clinical coach 1 will have those as well when they go. These are things that we will be referring to over the next few weeks, but you need to click on every one of these, and you need to see exactly what is in that area. We don't have time to do all of that this evening, but then the Zoom tutorial, that is for your use right there. You click on that. That tells you how to get your own free Zoom account, and you're going to need that because you're going to be working with your Zoom teams. And so this is actually where you go, and it tells you, how to set up your own. It's a limited account. I think Dr. Stone, they have about 40 minutes, 35 to 40 minutes. And that's all you need when you're with the group. But you need to go in there and figure that out. This is your Zoom teams. Now this is for my class. So with this, and there may be some adjustments that I have to do with that. But basically, with my class, my O2 class, I have 4 groups. These are the teams that you will be working with. Dr. Stone will do the same thing for his class, and my O4 group, the same thing is there. If you don't see your name somewhere, then you need to let us know so that we can make sure that you are with your group. This is the group that you're going to be working with this semester. And when you do, and we'll talk about this in a minute, peer reviews, when you're looking at each other's work, when you are collaborating virtually with case studies and things of that nature, these are the people that you will be working specifically with. So you need to get to know each other. There was a little brief assignment that you only got 1 point for, and some of you still need to go in there and do that, but it was just to give your contact information, and you put it on discussion board. And that way, the people in your class know how to get in touch with you. So if you haven't completed that and put it in discussion board, please take care of that one responsibility. Again, you get 1 point, but all it is to let us know that you're in there and that you know how to do what we want you to do. That's the whole purpose of that. And there's where you would do that. Upload your contact information here for your team members. It will go to Dr. Stone and to me, or to Dr. Lamb. It'll go for grade, and you're going to get 1 point for it. And I put in there, thanks. I look forward to working with you this semester. I will give you just a brief comment back, and that lets me know that you have cleared that responsibility.
All right. Dr. Stedman, let me interrupt you.
Yes.
Remember that we're looking at Dr. Stedman's shell. For those of you, Joe, you're in my shell. I have assigned you in my shell. There might be a new person that came today that's not in there, but I do have the teams already made up in my shell. So if you go to your shell or my shell that you've got under my courses, you will see that I have assigned Zoom teams. Remember, we're looking at Dr. Stedman's shell right now.
Right.
And Dr. Stone said he will assign his tomorrow. I will add the new person that came in late today. I believe there was a 12th person came into our section today. I will add them to, there is one group that only had 3 in it, so I'll add them to that group of 3. So we'll have 3 groups of 4 in my shell. But if you'll go to Blackboard under my courses, the C14 section, you will, under the Zoom teams, you will see your name there.
Okay. Thank you, Dr. Lamb. And again, these will be the people that you'll be working with this semester. Let's look at next. If you have not looked at your course syllabus, then you need to make sure that you open that up and that you need to understand that thoroughly. All I'm doing is just showing you how to maneuver through this in case you haven't done it yet. I'll stop at some point because I'm not going to open up everything, but I think it's important that we do look at few of these things. And you see this is specific to my classes. It has my name. When you go to Dr. Lamb's, it's going to have his name. Dr. Stone's, it's going to have his name. But basically, we have the same information in there. And this basically is our outline for the course. Again, this, when you look at your scale handbook and you look at this, these align with each other. But this is particularly, this is taking from the scale handbook what we need specifically for this semester. Let me, it's not wanting to move up fast enough. Okay. Dr. Lamb, are you there?
I am.
Tell me where I go so I don't go out of this completely. Just go up to, I opened it up. Just X out of this.
Yes.
Okay, that's what I thought. Okay, yeah, that's why I just didn't want to lose everything.
No, you're good.
I second guess myself sometime when I'm here. Okay, peer review, we're not going to talk about peer review. I want you to look at that because peer review is not due this week and I don't want to spend all of our time on that. You need to look at that. Peer review is just simply going to be where in that team that you just looked at, your Zoom teams, if there's 5 of you in the team, you're going to share responsibilities of looking at each other's task and evidence work once it's completed before it is submitted for final grades. And we will go through that process and talk to you more about how you do that. In fact, Dr. Lamb, we may talk about that some on Thursday night.
Right.
Also, case study materials. You will be doing 2 case studies this semester. I'm not going to open that up because we will be spending more time with that later on. But you'll be doing 2 case studies this semester. You will read independently. You will answer some questions independently. Then you will come back with that same Zoom group and you will work collaboratively with providing some information back to us for grade. And we've got some time. We may adjust that. Dr. Lamb and I have talked about it, and Dr. Stone has worked with them already in other groups. We may actually have you to do some presentations with that. We're going to see how our time works, and we may do some adjustments with the case studies because we have a little bit of time. One of them actually aligns completely with your work with Evidence One, the APSEL. The second one will be the second part of this semester, and it aligns itself completely with your work with the APTEL. So everything that we do aligns with your evidence work, and it has a purpose and why it's there. If you look here, oh, I missed this, your weekly class schedule. This will let you know, if you click on that, okay, slow. This will show you week by week. This is week 1, August the 26th through September the 1st. That has already happened. The town hall happened yesterday. This is happening right now. This lets you know that you have a Zoom session on Thursday, and that will be with Dr. Lamb and me, and we will be doing some of the same stuff, but we will be going more into the clinical approach to things on Thursday for those that are able to join us. These are the resources that you need to complete what you're going to be doing for week 1. And over here are your assignments, your responsibility again, and we're going to talk about this more. Dr. Stone's going to talk about this more in detail in just a few minutes. Become knowledgeable of the professional learning community process, because that is a big part of what you do in Evidence One and in Task One, the first few tasks with the APSEL. These are links that you can go to that will actually help you with the work that you will be doing, and they are all aligned with establishing the PLC and understanding the PLC, the professional learning communities. And then anything you see in red for the first 8 weeks, probably, anything you see in red means that it has to do with Evidence One, the APSEL. Anything in red is with the APSEL. And then this is where you can actually go in and set up your own free Zoom account. There's the link that I referred to a while ago. This is the link that you go to, and it tells you what to do. For each week, it will tell you that if you have assignments due that week, that we want them no later than 9:00 p.m. on that Sunday night. So tonight is Tuesday. If there are any assignments for this week, then we would expect to see them in Blackboard cleared by 9:00 this coming Sunday night. Now, you don't have to wait until then, because if you get your work done and you put it in there ahead of time, all three of us are pretty good about looking at things on a daily basis multiple times, and our efforts will be at the most to give you a 24-hour turnaround on anything that you put in there. So if you get it in there sooner, we will grade it sooner. You don't have to wait until the last minute. In fact, I prefer it sooner if you've got it done. But then you can look at this, and this will take you through all 16 weeks of this semester. That is the big picture. That's the big picture. But then we also have set up your weekly Zoom schedule. We have, if you click on those links, it tells you, what we're doing today. This is where you can go to join each week. Each Tuesday, this is the link that you will use, and then each Thursday, this is the link that you will use. However, for the first 2 or 3 weeks, we will be sending out reminders to you until you get used to things. But then after a while, we're going to say it's left up to you. You've got to remember that that you have class on Tuesday, and when we do have it on Thursday, we won't have it every Thursday, but we'll have it on Thursdays for the first 4 weeks right now. Dr. Stone, I need to get some water. Is there anything you'd like to say at this time?
Well, just realizing that if you're looking at Dr. Stedman's shell, that I haven't quite developed mine as well, so don't freak out, my folks. I'll certainly make sure that we get that. I'll get it there where it is. I've already assigned the team, so if you want to go in and look at the teams, if you're in my class, those are assigned already. Just a couple of observations from Dr. Stedman's talking to, again, and Dr. Lamb will verify this. We have a very high success rate in the MELS program, so we want to make sure that you are successful. So as you look at all of this and you wonder about how much work you've got to do, just realize that all of this is going to be worth it in the end, and we're going to be here to help you make sure you get there. Your clinical coach 1, your clinical coach 2, Dr. Stedman, Dr. Lamb, and I, we will be here to make sure that you are successful in this class. It is overwhelming when you look at it at the beginning. It really looks like it's a lot, and we recognize the fact that you're working professionals, but we also recognize that you have chosen this route because you are ambitious. You are good time managers. So we're going to help you get there. Okay. And again, if there's something in Dr. Stedman's shell or Dr. Lamb's shell that's not in mine yet, I'm still creating mine. This is a new course for me, so don't fret. We'll get it there. And if there's something you see that you want to make sure I get in mine, I haven't put the Zoom links in yet. I'll do that. I'll go in and do that after class today. So we'll get it there as quickly as possible.
But most of it's already there, Dr. Stone. So
yes,
and they don't need their Zoom teams yet anyway. So I just put it in there so that they would know that that's what it is. Let me see. I don't want to go into the APSEL yet because I want to.
Can I interject while you're still catching your breath? All right. Thursday night, I will lead the session, and we'll dig deeply into the 6 evidences. I want to look at all 6 of them. Specifically, we'll dig deep into the APSEL, the first one, but I want you to see how they all interrelate, all 6 of them. You're building a school improvement plan. That's what this process of the 6 evidences are doing. The first evidence, the APSEL, is your academic program. The second one is the APTEL, is your staff development plan. The third one is your master schedule and supervision schedule for your school. The fourth one is your school and community and parent involvement plan. The fifth one is your cultural plan. For those of you in North Carolina, we work off the teacher working conditions survey. For those of you in South Carolina, we work off the advanced ed survey to try to improve the culture and climate of your school. And then the 6th of the evidence is we put them all together in a school improvement plan. That's what principals have to do. They're legally required to develop a school improvement plan every year and carry that plan out. That's what these 6 evidences are doing. This isn't just things that we pulled out of the air. This is what is required, and we have to submit these to the state in your portfolio for you to get your license. And so my point that I'm going to make now, that I'm going to amplify on Thursday, is this. The first of these evidences that we're starting with is, and Dr. Stone is going to highlight tonight on PLCs, is your academic plan. You're going to look at forming a PLC, then you're going to look at your school standardized testing data, and then you're going to figure out what your most pressing need is, as Dr. Stedman said, and then you're going to look to do an annotated bibliography and look for what have other people that had similar problems done. Then you're going to develop an action plan and present that to your school administration, and then you're going to write the competencies that you address by doing this. This is not theoretical. We expect you to do these things in your clinical experience. That's a good question, Priscilla. This is not a theoretical exercise. This is a real exercise. Now, before you get too far down the road and go, hit it 20 yards into the woods, we are not doing discipline this semester. So if you determine, well, our most pressing need is parent involvement, that's wonderful, but not for this semester. That will come up next semester when you do the skip. Or our most pressing problem is discipline. That's wonderful, but that'll come up when you do the CAP in your last semester. That's why you need to read through these 6 evidences and know that there's a place for everything. They're not PBIS, discipline, not this semester. Your APSEL is student learning. It's about your academic programs. It's about curriculum. It's about finding a program, treatment, or fix to address your academic problems. It is not about discipline. It is not about school culture or climate. It's not about parent involvement. Those things are important. We're going to get to those in later evidences. But this first evidence is about academics. We're looking at your standardized test scores. What program, treatment, or fix do we put in place to improve our test scores? Second evidence you're going to do this semester is about developing capacity, teacher leadership, leadership in the classroom and in school to better meet your academic needs. This semester, we're focused on curriculum and instruction. We're not focused on parent involvement or discipline. This semester is about curriculum and instruction. So I want to make that clear to begin with. We always get somebody at the very beginning who says, oh, our problem is discipline. That's what I want to work on. We'll let you work on that later, but not this semester.
Okay.
All right, let's go back and answer these questions.
Okay, Dr. Lamb, since you mentioned that and you're going to focus more on the evidences on Thursday night, because I'm looking at our time and I want to make sure that Dr. Stone has plenty of time when I turn it over to him. Can we focus on Thursday night? Can we talk more about the APSEL and the requirements for the APSEL? Because we need to get them started on what they've got to do for the next week so they can begin thinking about. So if it's okay, so that we do have time, I do want to point out that, that for the APSEL, one of the things that, and we'll talk about this more on Thursday, is that we have built on purpose. We have built a lot of help aids for you to get started. We want you to be successful. So if you look here, This tells you right here, and Dr. Lamb will go into more detail on Thursday night, but these are the APSL task and prompts. This tells you exactly everything you got to do. But right here, and you click on it, and we'll talk about it again on Thursday night. This is an APSL template. We've actually put in there what you need. All you got to do is fill in the blanks with your information.
And that's where the question I just was asked is, I want to see what's due. Kind of look at it. You look right here under task and prompts. It outlines each of the tasks that you have to do and the prompts that you have to answer. And then the template, it's just to fill in the blank. We have an example. We even have an example there for you.
Let me click on that real fast, Dr. Lamb.
Yeah.
This is the template because, again, the template is aligned with the prompts. And
absolutely.
Already, so let me do that.
We've even got a template that's already APA formatted for you, where you won't have to worry about that. We've got it color coded. You know, the only thing is make sure you put your name there instead of leaving that. That's the IQ test.
Right, for that page, that's the only thing you do is put your name on that page, and the rest of it is the same. This is where
Dr. got that one. I like him. I like Sean already. He's catching on.
Yeah.
Highlighted areas, add your text here. Red text is a reminder or an example, and you delete it and put yours in place. All black text stays. Really simple. So school profile, you tell us about your school. You go to your advanced ed or your SACS report, that front chapter in it that talks about your school, your community, the education, the family housing costs, the average income. Tell us about your school community. And then you leave that black in, and then you go and do your PLC research. And that's what Dr. Stone's going to start you on tonight. Right there where it says you put those things in. You select your PLC members. Who are they? What's their qualifications to be on this PLC? You have your first meeting. You take notes. You do your norms and your responsibilities at your first meeting, and you just tell us about it. I mean, it can't be any simpler than this, folks. This is a process that works. Our folks never don't get their portfolios passed. The state loves to see our portfolios because we have a process. Now, I'll tell you that our process also entails intentional abandonment. What that means is we give you tremendous support this first semester. When we get to the next semester, when you have me in 603, it gets a little bit tougher then because I'm not going to give you templates. I'll give you one for the OMA, but after that, you're going to be on your own to create your own templates. We pull back and let you emerge as leaders. There's no doubt that we can do this because we've done it. The issue, we're not the one in question here. That would be you. We want to see you emerge and be able to do this. And so we're going to give you all the support. Dr. Revis is with us tonight, Dr. Hamilton, Dr. Shepard, all the folks, the instructors. We work as a team to try to pull because some people learn different ways and from different people. Some people say I'm a little abrupt. Well, but Dr. Stedman, he makes up for that by being the nicest person in the world. That's who I want to be when I grow up, is Dr. Stedman. Dr. Stone is calm and rational. I get a little bit fired up. Different people learn different ways, and that's fine. The important thing is that you learn and that you grow through this program. As he said earlier, that you change your lens from that of a teacher to an administrator, and that you grow and develop where you're going to do a good job when you get your job, because we're doing this for you to get a job. I love Priscilla's question. Is this theoretical? No, this is not theoretical. We expect you to do this work because you're going to generate some wonderful artifacts that you're going to put in the portfolio that you can take to an employer and say, this is what I can do. I can make a difference in your school. We'll work with you on interviewing. I mean, we do it all. Our folks are highly successful in getting jobs. They well exceed the state average on their evaluations once they're in the job. And there's a reason why. You're prepared when you come through this program. We're not playing. This is about your future. and we take it very seriously. We laugh and joke and have a good time, but now we intend for you to be able to perform once you're in the role. And so none of this is theoretical. It's all real.
Dr. Lamb, and in addition to, just like Dr. Lamb said, we've given you lots of stuff. All of this stuff, PLC norms, do 4 charge session, all of this you will need as you are doing task 1, task 2, task 3. We've given you lots of stuff, but look at here. What does that say? An APSO example. We've actually put, now I'm not going to tell you that it's
a bare bones.
An accomplished document.
No.
We just put it in there so that you would have examples.
It's the baseline.
To see. But we actually put in there so you can look at that and you can have a model to go by. Now, like Dr. Lamb said, after this semester, you won't get that anymore. And even when you get to the APTEL, we will start cutting back some. But we are going to make sure that you understand and you know everything that you've got to do from the beginning. We're going to give you lots of support and lots of help. And we're always going to be there. But at some point, we want you to be independent and be able to figure out and do it on your own. And you want to as well. Dr. Lamb, I think we've got it to a point that we can pick up with exactly what they've got to do and have ready. When we talk on Thursday night, we can say, okay, based on this, this is what you've got to have ready for us next week.
Yes.
For their assignment. So let's do that, and I can move it on to Dr. Stone, and he can do his presentation at this time. Dr. Stone, I'm going to stop share, and then that way you should be able to pull yours up then.
Okay.
We get to see Dr. Lamb now.
That was a treat.
All right. Well, the calm one is speaking. So welcome, everyone. We're so glad that you are here. And here's the PowerPoint that I really quickly want to go over with you, because you will be using PLCs quite a bit when you are into this process, and you'll see the value of them. But you are already using PLCs, I'm sure, in your buildings. And you probably can experience, from your experience, you can say this PLC works well, this PLC does not. And so hopefully from this quick little PowerPoint, I hope to give you a couple lessons learned. I've been working with PLCs now for a number of years when they were first introduced in North Carolina, and there really are some lessons to learn about a successful PLC. Now, your experience at your school may be that yours doesn't work as well as it should, because when they don't work, they don't work. If they become that griping session, when teachers or staff members get together and they're more griping than it is about student achievement, just remember that a PLC, really the main goal is to focus that school toward academic achievement. And so, quick little PowerPoint, stop me if you have any questions, but I won't spend a lot of time. But since PLCs are going to be central to the first 3 tasks of your project, I want to make sure that we have a really good, clear understanding of what is good, how to create and work one, and to sustain it. And there are some components of a PLC, and you'll see all this in the research that's available there to you, but there are some components of it. So obviously a PLC, and I guess I can move you guys down here. From a PLC, the very essence of it is, of course, is school improvement, student achievement, academic achievement, where everything in that organization should be talking about what's important to that school, and that what is important is academic learning, where the students are going to be, and the responsibility that we all have for them being successful. It's about moving from isolation to collaboration. And in looking at some of the research and some of the information that I know from working in this job for a number of years, there are really 6 things that make, or 6 ways or 6 steps that make PLCs work extremely well, the right way. And here's a quick little guide if you want to go and look at this. Throughout this, you'll see some options. So when you begin to have to do your research on PLCs, you'll see that it's available. Step 1, to make sure that you have a successful PLC, and we will be asking you to lead the PLC, is to teach your participants how to collaborate. It's been part of our culture as teachers to sometimes just sit back and let others do it. And so sometimes you're going to have to pull people and give them an opportunity to collaborate, because oftentimes those people have tried to collaborate and have been slapped down. Those people have tried to collaborate and have not been successful. So some general guidelines, but really it is about having the opportunity to teach the participants about how to be collaborative, how to build some of those ground rules so teachers can work together. Realizing as well that collaboration is something that doesn't happen overnight. Your teachers, your staff members bring unique qualities about them, unique characteristics that aren't always, in our opinion, the best, but you've got to work and collaborate to make sure the collaboration works. It is a process, but you are working, of course, to find that common goal. Second step, of course, is that atmosphere of trust. And as you start working, as Dr. Stedman said a little bit later on, and I think Dr. Lamb alluded to, you will now be seen in a little bit of a different light when you start leading PLCs, and when you are now part of that administrative piece, or working toward and putting on that administrative hat. You will be viewed in a little bit of a different light. So it's important in a PLC that one that works. And again, if you were to raise your hand about the PLCs at your school work, probably half of you would say not very well. Half of you would say, I have an awesome PLC, or PLCs work well in our school. So creating an atmosphere of trust, making sure that opinions are valued, everyone is, that there's no judgment in them, and that people have an opportunity to establish that trust, not only with you as the leader, but also with each other in the team. You really, it's very difficult, and I've seen this happen in some of the schools that I had a chance to supervise. It's very difficult to lead successful PLCs when the principal comes in and it's all about what are you doing wrong and why aren't we getting there? A PLC really is about that collaboration and moving from isolation to collaboration. So, but you've got to have that atmosphere of trust. And I've heard this, and Dr. Lamb, it may be I heard it from you, but it is so easy to lose trust. It only takes one thing to lose the trust of your folks, and it will take you a long, long time to get it back.
That's correct.
Whenever you go into your PLCs and you start using these for these particular evidences, just remember that you've got to have enough time. There's nothing more frustrating than going into a meeting, going into a PLC opportunity, and having a certain amount of time, and you really cut it off when some of those great discussions start happening. Those great discussions need to be developed, so you're going to have to make sure that you don't try to do it in the 30 minutes, or you don't set an artificial time frame for it. You may need to do something in 30 minutes, but there's always got to be that teaser. We're going to come back and we're going to address this in more detail. Another is to be broad and inclusive, and that means that you need to reach out into your community. You need to find that brand new teacher, or that teacher that sits in the back who has some phenomenal ideas, but you never hear them because they aren't comfortable sharing them. So you make sure you reach out and you build some of those teacher leaders in your own building. So again, it's being broad, it's being inclusive, reach for as many people, parents, community leaders as well. Sometimes in some of the projects or in some of the evidences, you will be asked to have community folks at the table. So remember, when those PLCs, that inclusiveness and broadness is more important. When things get tough, it's always important. It's always an option to go outside for help. That could be a consultant. That could be not necessarily hiring a consultant. That may be someone in another school or someone else in your district who can come in and help you focus back on what you're doing. And most importantly, an aspect is to remember the L, which is learning. That really is the function of PLCs. It's a professional opportunity for your staff and for the team that you put together to have learning for the students as well. All right, so it's really important that you keep that in there. Now, there are some wrong ways to do it, and realizing that, and I'm going to cover these very quickly because I hope you don't have these in your particular PLCs in your school, but we are human, therefore there is the potential for dysfunctionality. And so the first one, and these are lessons learned of what you need to do, or what you can do when you start developing your teams, is to develop team norms. And those are the foundations. So that develop those groundworms. That keeps the teams from going outside of the norm, and keeps them from becoming dysfunctional and in conflict ridden. So make sure those norms are visited. Make sure the whole team gets a chance to be a part of developing those norms. If they fail, most PLCs fail because those norms are not followed. The second one is a lack of goals. And if you don't have goals, of course, you will have failures. And so make sure that you have, in your district level, your school level PLC, that you have some clearly defined goals and opportunities for the team. Without that goals, you can't have the lack of purpose or the urgency or a destination. It's really important that you have established team goals. And these are goals that need to be established by the team with you. A lack of trust. I'm sorry, did I interrupt? Okay. Third one is, of course, a lack of trust. And there is, I don't have to tell you this, that if people don't trust you, they're not going to follow you. If people don't trust you, they'll always be suspicious of what your motives are. They'll always be suspicious, no matter, even if there's nothing to it, they'll always be suspicious. So it is important to develop that trust and to keep that trust. Admit mistakes, develop the team and develop the trust within that team to make sure that what's said in the team, the confidentiality, the hard conversations you have to have stays in the team. No one is blamed. You're developing that culture of trust for each other. Another reason why your PLCs may fail, and I hope they don't, but you need to be cautious of when you're developing and using them in these particular evidences, is a lack of communication. Top down is not the definition of PLCs, and communication problems occur when you go outside of those norms or you go outside of those goals. It's important to have a very good communication and clear and transparent communication where it's not, where everybody is on the same page, where it's not the few in the PLC who are getting all the information and others don't. The last dysfunction, of course, is not really focusing on what you should be focusing on, and that is the essential learning. You need to determine what those are as a team, and those are the things that you need to focus on. I spoke through those very quickly. Each week when we have a session, I'll try to cover one of the topics that's in your book or one of the topics related to one of the evidences to kind of supplement some of the things you're doing. Here are some of the resources I put together for you from the web as you start doing your bibliographies and start doing those things that are required for your research on PLCs, giving you some great starting points here. This PowerPoint is open to you, and again, reflecting best practice in PLCs. And again, if I were to take a survey of the 45 or so of you who are here, half of you would probably say you have dysfunctioning PLCs. We want you to have a well-functioning PLC, because as you develop these school improvement plans, that last project or last evidence that you do in 605, built upon all of the other 5 evidences that you put together, we want to make sure that it is a successful one that you can take anywhere and be successful with. And particularly when you go to apply for that job and show that principal, I've done this work. This is easy peasy. I've done it. This is a part of what we did in our master's program. Any questions on PLCs, or does anyone want to chime in? Anything about a PLC that works or what doesn't work? This will be your vehicle for the evidences. Anything, Dr. Stedman, Dr. Lamb, you want to add to PLCs?
I just want to say that anything that we provide you with, just like this presentation, you have free reign to use it any way that you need to at your schools. Any materials that we give you in these presentations, just remember that if you use them in your evidence work, that you need to give credit, where credit is due, and make sure that you do that. But you're welcome to use anything that we give you.
And all those links will have credit at the end. So
yeah,
these are resources.
Yeah. Dr. Lamb?
Is it time for the benediction yet?
Yeah, I just want them to know that, please, do you see the importance of being online with us as much as possible? You can view the videos that we will send out, but I think that if you can be online with us, that it will be much more meaningful, and I think that you'll be able to go back and to do the requirements a lot easier if you're with us. So that, my point in saying that is, please be with us if you can on Thursday. We will pick up where we are leaving off. We've given you a lot tonight, but we want you to make sure, we want to make sure that we know that you can do this. You've got to just believe in yourself, and again, don't let the next couple of weeks define the outcome of things, because it's going to be a lot of adjustment. But once you get past the next 2 or 3 weeks, I promise you, and if you could talk to students that have completed this program already, they will tell you, Dr. Stedman's telling you the truth, Dr. Lamb's telling you the truth, Dr. Stone's telling you the truth. I promise you, if you'll give it until then, you'll look back and you'll say, I'm glad I did it.
And Dr. Stedman, most of the classes I teach are in 605, that last course you'll have, and everyone will go back and give credit to all that the groundwork, the framework that you do in 601, building that framework. It is going to be so much easier when you get into 603 and 605 by all the support you'll get here in 601. So you'll do well.
Okay, Dr. Lamb?
All right. Dr. Revis is with us tonight. She's coaching the C14 section. Dr. Revis, you have anything you'd like to add tonight? She's still muted. Let's see. We may have to We may have to unmute Dr. Revis. We're
Aye.
thankful that she joined us tonight.
I can't find her, Dr. Lamb.
She's in the third row.
Wait a minute.
Screen.
Let me see, Dr. Revis.
I don't see her either.
I can see her, but I don't know.
I can unmute everybody.
Yeah, unmute everybody.
Oh, there's
So
Dr. Revis. She's Danny, I think she's in the first screen, fourth row, first one.
Let me just mute. Dr. Revis, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay,
There she
Dr.
is.
Lamb wants you to give some words of wisdom at the end.
Well, I'm excited to be working with Dr. Lamb's candidates this semester. I've been working in the program for about 8 or 9 years, different capacities, and I've been an evaluator and a clinical coach one, and have taught classes as well. But I'm excited about working and coaching. And I want to echo again what has been said by Dr. Stedman and all the other instructors. We're here to support you. We're here to help you become successful and meet your goal.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Revis.
All right, Dr. Stedman, if you'll mute everybody again, I'll do the benediction tonight.
Okay, I have done that.
I've unmuted myself now. All right, so here's the final thought for tonight. Thursday night, I'll dig deep into the app sale. We'll look at all the evidences, and we'll go over all of them and how they fit together. Then we'll start digging deep into the app sale on Thursday night. Everybody knows that these sections are always optional. We record every one. We'll email it to you later tonight, and we'll also post it under the week that it happened. So this video will be available under week 1, the link to the YouTube link to this, and we'll email it to you as well. But give us a few minutes. It takes about an hour and a half, 2 hours to process and upload and do all that, but we'll get you the videos. So, but the thought I want to leave you with tonight is this. When I go to the eastern part of the state, on 40, I get to Raleigh and I go around the loop, the belt line on Raleigh, and I head toward the coast. I passed the Garner exit. I think it's exit 306.
306, that's where my son lives.
Jones Sausage Road. You know what they do at Jones Sausage? They make sausage. You know what we do in public education? We teach kids. That's what we do. That is our core competency, is we teach kids. Academic achievement. That's the name of the business. If you're one of those people who believe that scores don't matter and those kinds of things, this is not for you. This is about getting the best that we can out of the people who trust us with their children. We're doing the best that we can for them and for those kids. And so this program, we will always be focused on academic achievement, on doing what's best for kids and not what's comfortable for adults. Same way with you folks. We're going to do what's best for you and not what's always comfortable, but realize in the end, it'll all be worth it. Dr. Stedman, close us out.
Well, I will see you on Thursday, and I hope I see all of you on Thursday. Dr. Revis, thank you for joining us, and you're welcome to be with us every week. And next time, just unmute yourself so that you're there. Okay?
All right.
On Thursday.
Priscilla, I'll see
everybody.
you
Thank you, Dr. Stone.
next week.